How's it going, guys? Let's fill out the human population notes for tonight. Our first definition is demography, which is the study of information about human populations. So a couple things that you need to know in order to study demography is what the birth rate and the death rate of your population is. Now, birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 people in a year, and the death rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 people in a year. Now, if we take our birth rate and subtract our death rate, we get our population growth rate, which is sometimes referred to as PGR. Moving on, age structure. Age structure refers to the number of people at each different age level. Number of people at each different age level. We showed this in an age graph. Okay, that is what we created in class today. We compared Nigeria to Mexico and China and Germany and the United States. We looked at how different those populations are. Some of those populations had a very low population growth rate. Some of them had a high population growth rate. When large amounts of the population is children, the population is experiencing rapid growth. When there are more adults than children, the population is declining. And when you have the same amount of people at each different age level, the population is stable. Now, there have been some things in human history that have affected our human population size. One of those was hunting and gathering. So scientists hypothesize that the humans who arrived in North America uh, 12,000 years ago, so those ones that came over on the Siberian land bridge, they caused a major mass extinction. They caused a major mass extinction of animals. They hunted and hunted and hunted until species like the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed tiger were extinct until they killed the very last of them. Another factor that affected human population was the invention of agriculture. This allowed people to stay put in one place and farm their food. So they didn't have to travel in small groups. They were able to build long-lasting shelters and were able to stay in one place. So agriculture. Humans began practicing farming which included growing fruits, veggies, grains, and raising animals. So it became easier to support larger populations with the invention of agriculture. After that, human population stayed pretty stable, okay, until the Industrial Revolution began. Once the Industrial Revolution began, society was transformed Okay, so human society was transformed by the Industrial Revolution, which added machines and factories to civilization. During the 1700s and the 1800s. Occurred mostly in the 1800s. Sorry guys, I didn't realize you couldn't read that. So the Industrial Revolution. Human society was transformed by the Industrial Revolution, which added machines and factories to civilization during the 17 and 1800s. This also increased pollution. There were very few regulations on what could and couldn't come out of factories. So they burned a lot of coal, okay, and it wasn't clean coal like we have to now. They were burning whatever they could. And as they were burning it, it put a lot of soot and ash into the air, and so cities became very dirty and gross. Okay, and because the factories from the Industrial Revolution were in cities, cities became very, very crowded. People didn't want to live in those crowds, so they began to move to the suburbs. So people began moving to the suburbs, which caused or causes stress on plants and animals in those areas. All right, so that is how human populations have changed. Okay, those are some of the big factors that began influencing human population. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or ask me in class tomorrow.